They get me back in it and finally get me to a little cubby. And they, asked me a few questions. I said, no, I got some for you. I said, one, I want the best, highly recommended orthopedic surgeon, because I'd had work done before on my body. I knew what to look for. I said, I want number one. I want uno in your hospital. They said, well, that would be Dr. Don Hawkins. Get his name out there. Thank you, Don, if you hear this. And when he comes finally and he's looking at all the x-rays they'd taken and they had to cut my pants off, they cut off the brand new Red Wing boots. That hurt, That hurt as bad as the injury. Working men love their boots. So he cuts it off, you see. And they do these tests and x-rays, and he's standing there with a hand just staring at this, saying this and this, and begins to tell me. And I said, Doc, I know it's bad. I said, come here, and I want to talk to you. I said, first of all, I need to know one thing. I said, I need to know if you know Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. You see, I'd had a doctor before that didn't, and I knew better than to get in that predicament a second time. And he began to testify. I received and accepted his testimony. And then he said, Brian, you got a lot. I said, Doc, I realize. I said, there's a lot wrong. But I said, Doc, I've been in here for 30, 40 minutes before you got here. And I said, I'm hearing amputation around here. I've heard the word spoken around and over me. And I said, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going in there to get my foot cut off. Okay? And I know it's a major job, but all I'm asking, they said you're number one. I'm just expecting you to do the best you can do and give God the opportunity to do the rest. And I said, I'm just telling you right now, don't you dare let me come out of there without my foot. And I ended up in surgery, I don't know, 3.5, 4, I can't even remember, it's been so long ago, but several hours. And then I end up back in a room and where he ends up, and I remember the next time I'm got some consciousness about me, and he's looking at the x-rays, and they're full of nuts and bolts and a piece of steel. There was actually 3 steel pins, 15 steel screws, and a 5-inch plate just above the ankle and down. I'd crushed the leg bone, and it's a total of 6 bones. It was just really messed up. And I said, Doc, he's admiring his work, I said, Doc, it's a pretty awesome job you did there for me, and I really appreciate it. I said, just exactly how did you do that? And he turned to me, and he held his hands out. I said, God did it, right? I knew I was facing 2 more surgeries in the next, or 3 actually, 2 more, so a total of 3, 2 more surgeries in the next couple of years. I was out of commission. I was at an age break that with the fire department, they wouldn't allow me to, of course, be a fireman until I'd have to prove myself again because physically I'd been screwed up, so they would expect me to prove that again. It's just common sense. But I would be too old by the time that I was able to do that, so fireman days were short-lived. I was a Tulsa fireman for one day. American Airlines called me that fall, and they said, we're ready to get you. And I told them, they said, well, if you're under a doctor's care, you can't come to, So that went out the window. So I knew I was facing this 2 years, and I enrolled myself in college, and I got some vocational rehab help, and I went back to school for a couple of years and went through 2 surgeries, and I got some of the metal taken out, finally all of it. And what I want to tell you is that sometimes we have plans that aren't the same plans that God has. I'd be a liar if I told you that foot never bothered me. I've been through a lot, but that one in particular has been something that's suffered me greatly. But I was a Tulsa fireman for a day, and then we're going to leave that story alone for a little while.